I wake up this morning and it's like you feel like you're gonna crash inside your mind. And all these funny thoughts sort of twirl around inside your head, and you're just thinking, what on earth am I supposed to be doing with my life? Some people are given total direction on what to do with their lives. Some people are told what to do. I mean, sometimes friends don't really want a person to live out their life totally and say, well, we'd rather you turn into some sort of druggie or something so that you risk losing your life every day rather than living one that lives on forever. But some people aim to live on forever. Other people are guided into doing things right. They want you to have good grades. And once you get good grades, they want you to go to uni. Once you go to uni, they want you to get a job. Once you get a job, they want you to do well, make money. Once you get money, they want you to buy a house and a car. Once you get those, they want you to have marriage. It's sort of well set that way. But other people just, who aren't given sort of any line out on what to do by when. I mean, some people say finish uni by 20, have a job by 21, have a raise by 25, be a manager by 30 or whatever. Some people get those sort of fat lines, but other people don't. I guess, in regards to life, I wasn't really given an outline. I wasn't urged to do well at school. I wasn't, told a lot of things. I was just told, when I was a teenager, I was told to try and be a druggie, but no one was buying me any drugs, didn't have much money, so I didn't want to even bother going that way. It sort of raked against my morals too. I mean, I never wanted to be a druggie because, I don't know, I thought druggies were ugly. And, I don't get high off drugs. You just get a sort of a mental trip sort of thing. So I was never really keen on doing drugs or drink, whatever. But no one was religious in my family in particular, so they weren't urging you to learn a religion and be good. They knew you were good, they just didn't know what on earth you were supposed to be doing. But my parents go through many phases of wanting to commit suicide themselves. So they sort of, come and go on their ideals. They try and give you a hard time, and then they don't. And then they suddenly say, oh, why don't you have money, and why aren't you grown up? And you're like going, because, I don't know. And that's sort of, sort of the kind of growing up period that I was given. I was sort of given a bit of a hard time myself. And then my parents were like, questioning why I wasn't up to scratch, and, when they didn't really give you any world that would put you in a place where they thought that you were maturing very well. So after a while, they just let their ideals go. I mean, they sort of just let them go, and then they sort of walked around in their own world, and you walked around in your own world, and you live your own lives, even successfully or not. But yeah, somewhere along the line, my dad felt like he was dying, so he put little pills in the foods and stuff, and that's why I feel like, you're still sort of living on the edge every day and stuff, because your brain's sort of floating off. And no one likes to sort of hear that, but you know it is half the time. So that's sort of the side effects to sort of living with other people for too long, who are sort of moody and want to crash half the time. So So why did I move out and then move back at home? Well, I thought my apartment needed recarpeting. Um, so I moved all my things out, and while I was moving things out, my dad said, "You need to move out because, you're not liking the apartment very much," so I moved all my things out rather than half of them. So now I've left my apartment and went home, and it's sort of the same, but I don't have my own space. I was thinking about going back to my apartment so I can do more things on my own and be closer to the stores and stuff. Because here it's a little bit of a trip. I don't really want to take journeys every day. I just want to walk down the street and get my stuff and then walk back to my apartment, sort of thing. What I really want is, what I really would like is to switch from an apartment to a home, but the homes are like $500 a week, and you're like going, wow, I can only pay for half of that, and it's like, it's very hard. I mean, I've been looking into really cheap homes to actually buy myself, but it's like really hard to find really good ones, because most of them are really crappy, unless it's new, and I love homes that are new, because homes that are new are more like yours. I mean, it's like opening a present and finding an old shoe compared to a new one. I mean, the new ones are the best. They're shiny, they're up to scratch, they've got everything that you want, and they're only going to be lived in by you. Whereas the old one, is old, dusty, crappy. And so, yeah, you don't really want it half the time, but, you might put it on if you really, really, really need it. I always wanted a new home. I was going to buy myself a new apartment, but I was like being too picky. I was like, oh, I want a balcony. I don't know about this. It might be too small and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I even want an apartment. It might be crappy. So I passed on, I didn't really have much of a deposit either. And I wasn't really researching into home loans that don't have deposits. It's like with the bank that I was with. I knew that they didn't do deposits without what do you call it? It's a deposit free home loan, whatever. So they didn't do those with my bank, and I was like, well, if I'd researched a little bit more, I would have found that kind of deal with an independent organization, and it would have been almost the same price as with the bank. And I was like kicking myself because I wasn't really researching into that really. But I didn't have much of a home loan deposit, so I'd only just lost like $40,000 to some sort of scam. So and so I was sort of only had a little bit of money in my bank at the time, so that's why I wasn't really urging myself to push myself to put myself down for any of those apartments. But I was also being a bit picky. Like, they go really quickly, and I was like, well, I can wait 6 months, maybe it'll be there. But after 6 months, it's like it's all gone. All the cheap ones are gone, and the expensive ones are gone, and you're like going, oh, do I have to less of a chance, sort of thing.